Right, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday night. What are we today? I think it's the 20th of August 2018. My name's Ben and this is my wife Alex, and we're joining you from New Zealand this evening. I want to say big thanks to Adam and Kira for giving us the chance, trusting us with this Build Strong training for freestyle. Like I said, we're from living in New Zealand. I'm from Brisbane originally. Alex is a Kiwi. We've been involved with Juice Plus since 2016. It was April. We have 5 children, and so far, I guess from my perspective, our biggest achievement, for me watching on, was seeing Alex walking the stage, the first New Zealander walking the stage in the United States and speaking in front of 8,000 people. That was pretty cool. And so I guess when we started, we didn't know anyone in New Zealand who was doing Juice Plus. Obviously it's been here for a while. We didn't know anyone ourselves, and I guess for her to be able to reach that goal was pretty satisfying. So a load of the credit has got to go to Alex, and we're going to hear from her a little bit later on, because I've got to be honest, there were some times where I wanted to throw my toys out of the cot. So she was there to pick them all back up again and put me back in my cot. So I think it's just a really great reminder that no matter where you are in the world, no matter what your background, your family, circumstances or whatever, there's a place here in this team Freestyle for you. And Juice Plus is the vehicle that can change your life, if that's what you're looking for and if you're willing to get the work done. So it's an honor to share. Hopefully we can add some value tonight. I'm just going to mute everybody. Thanks to Katrina, who was just taking the Start Strong call. I love some of that verbiage she had there towards the end especially. And look, other leaders like Katrina do such an amazing job. The how-to of the business. I don't want to try and compete with that. She did too much of a good job. So I guess we wanted to take a little bit of a different approach and share something a little bit different. We wanted to, but, I want to get your permission first. I want to find out, is it okay if we share a little, hang on, I just got some noise. I'm just going to mute everybody. Hope that will work. Yeah, I want to get your permission first. I was hoping that it'd be okay to share a little bit about what goes on up here. So if it's all right to talk about something a little bit different tonight, because one thing we have worked a lot on in life is how to muster the strength to overcome obstacles in order to get stuff done. Joe Ross, awesome. All right, hey Joe, how you doing? So if it's not okay, I'm going to say we're in trouble, because that's what we have prepared for tonight. So we're talking about some stuff up here. Hopefully you'll get some value out of it, because I think we realise that challenges are going to present themselves in life, no matter what you pursue. Would you agree? Especially when you're working towards a goal that will potentially set your life free, there's going to be some times where you are going to be tested. Okay, you're going to be tested to see how badly you want it. You're going to be tested to see if you'll keep on keeping on all the way through. You're going to be tested to see how you handle the ups and the downs that come your way. And so I suppose our purpose tonight is to not lead you to believe that all things are going to be smooth sailing, because, look, let's be honest, that's not life. But we're not here to depress you either. We're here to help get you battle ready so that you can go out there and get this stuff done, because any journey that is worth the effort is going to require you to work at it. And I think the person you become along the way is often more of a reward than, say, specifically the financial benefits, because as you become better yourself, so do the people around you. And naturally, as the people around you become better, your paycheck is going to reflect that. So, look, we're here tonight to communicate around the reasons why this journey is worth the fight. And also, what do you have to do in order to lead the charge? So I'm hoping that's okay. So just a couple of people come off mute. So hopefully that's okay with you. So like I said, I'm going to open up, and then pretty soon Alex is going to share a little bit, some examples from our own journey, some key attributes, I guess you could say, that we've noticed that are required to overcome some of this stuff in order to reach your goals. Because I think identifying possible weaknesses in yourself will help make your journey more effective. Once you've identified stuff in yourself that might need some improving, you can then help other people move through that process as well. And the more effective you become yourself, the more capable you are of helping a greater number of people. And I know Alex and myself are big believers that there's actually more inside of each one of you than you give yourself credit for. Okay. And I think if we can help some of you ask a few better questions of yourself tonight, then we will feel like we've had a bit of a win. So are you with us? Give us some love if you're all good with that, and we shall crack on. Hopefully someone will give us a Y for a yes. And here we go. We've had one yes from Cassandra. All right, cool. So if we had a title for tonight's training, I'm not sure if we have titles for training, but I decided to give tonight's training a title, and it would be called Don't Smother the Baby. That sounds kind of interesting. Don't smother the baby. Now, it's not a unique title. We actually went to church yesterday, and it was pretty cool. The sermon actually matched perfectly kind of what we wanted to say tonight. I find it sort of works out that way. And I was so busy typing all these notes on my phone while I was in church. I can't even remember the name of the guy speaking, to be honest, but I just wanted to acknowledge his input. So don't smother the baby. So the big question for tonight is, when is the best time to destroy a dream? You know, at what stage of the journey is prime time to derail the carriage from moving towards its destination? Okay, destroying future potential is best done when the purpose is still in its infancy. Okay, the best time to prevent someone from making headway is before they gather momentum. You know, you think about like the 100-meter race at the Olympics. Okay, the best sprinter of all time, Usain Bolt. What's the best time to stop him? You know, it's before he fully gets into his stride. You know, you've seen him start a race. It takes him, I'm not sure, I haven't measured it, but, you know, a good 30 meters before he's fully upright into his running posture. You know, or, you know, over here, the All Blacks are the team. Got to admit, I'm an Aussie, but they are the best in the world. So, you know, you think about an All Black. Once he gathers some force and some momentum, it's a lot harder to stop him than when he's just starting to move. The time to tackle him is when he's just received the ball and he hasn't created any force yet. Okay, so if you've been here in Team Freestyle for less than 4 years, which is probably everybody, you know, I think Adam may have just, ticked over 4 years, possibly. So definitely us, we've been here under 4 years. Well, then your business is still in its infancy. Okay, we are all just scratching the surface of what is possible. And we have to remember what network marketing can provide for us. Okay, network marketing can condense a 40-year career of working 40 hours a week into a 4 to 5 year time frame, working a fraction of those hours. I mean, that's pretty exciting. Okay, and if we remain consistent with the activities that Adam and Kira teach us every week, if we can continue to improve, this is a 4 to 5 year career, if you want it, that's going to set you up for the rest of your life. Okay, so if you are here to change your life and the lives around you, give us a Y. Give us a Y for a yes in the chat. Give us a HY if it's a heck yes, or any other combination of letters you want to use. But, you know, who's here to change their life? Who's here to change the life, you know, of their family? Awesome. We've got some HYs. Awesome. Look, honestly, you know, if we look at it, there is some great money available early on as you get going. Now, look, we were cash flow positive in our second month. It's an amazing business model. Okay, you won't change your life forever in 4 to 5 months. We managed to change our life significantly in about 14 to 15 months. And by that time, we were already convinced what this was going to be in another 2 to 3 years' time. Okay, like Usain Bolt, we were into the race by then. We were up out of our starting posture, like we were up and striding by 14 to 15 months. Okay, it was too late to stop us by then. It was too late to stop us from moving forward. But it's that period from the start of the race until you're up into your stride where you can create the most speed. That's the danger period, and that's where you watch the races. It's head down. It's getting themselves into the position to get up to finish the race. Okay, so by the time 14 or 15 months came along for us, you know, you couldn't derail us because we could see what this was going to be. Okay, so if you want to build something strong, so this is the start, build strong, sorry. If you want to build something strong and create something amazing, Okay, you've got to persevere with your head down until you are fully upright and into the race. If you look around and get distracted, like the race will pass you by, you don't see any of the 100-meter Olympic runners in the final looking around. They are head down, getting themselves up into the right posture to finish the race. Okay, I'm sure most of you have heard this before. Too many people overestimate what they can achieve in the short term, but they underestimate what they can achieve over the long term. Okay, Usain Bolt does not win the 100-meter sprint in the first 30 meters. If it was a 30-meter race, he would not be the champion. He doesn't win the first 30 meters. He wins it once he is up and striding. Okay, so what is Juice Plus providing for us? You know, as you progress further in the compensation plan, so you hit that foundational position of SDVF, and then you can qualify your business. Start to unlock the beach money. You see what that's about. Okay, you will come to understand that the majority of your income has the potential to be asset-rich income, not just earned income, because there's a difference. Asset-rich income, passive income, residual income, money you are earning outside of your own effort. Now think about what is another type of asset-rich type of income, say property. So, you'd have to earn like $1 million freehold property. Freehold meaning you don't owe no debt. And we'd say it would need to return something like 10%, in a year. That's a pretty good return on investment. 6-figure income, 6-figure asset-rich income. We are asking the Juice Plus company to potentially pay us $4,000, $7,000, $10,000 plus per month. That's pretty awesome. Okay, this is really awesome. Things take time. Okay, you have a legitimate way to start a brand new business that requires, 10 hours a week, be cash flow positive in your second month. Most businesses are not cash flow positive until 12 to 24 months because of the massive upfront investment. Okay, look, even if you miss some of your bonus money along the way, it doesn't matter. You think about the traditional job, how many years of working 40 plus hours a week do you think it would take most people to save enough money to buy $1 million of property outright so that they could earn a 6-figure income? 2 lifetimes maybe for most people? Now I'm a golf lover. I love golf. Got to play golf with Adam in Newcastle. Golfing analogy, for less money than the latest golf club that Titleist or Callaway puts out, people buy these clubs all the time. For less money than that, you can begin a Juice Plus franchise that you can turn into a 6-figure asset-rich income if you want it. Well, that's amazing. I think sometimes we need to look at perspective, what it is we have available to us. Okay, you've all got leaders that have done it. We've seen it in our own business. Okay, but you will never, ever get there if you quit. Okay, you will never, ever get there if you pull out before you're up and striding to finish the race. Okay, you're never going to get there if you don't do the work. Okay, you'll never fast track your career earnings if you allow yourself to stay where you currently are at. Okay, you'll never set yourself free if you refuse to ask yourself some tough questions at some time, along the way, because at some stage along the journey, there's going to be some challenges, and there's going to be some circumstances come along that's going to challenge your resistance. Okay, the legacy of what you can create for yourself and your family hinges on how you face these challenges that come up, because challenges come up in life all the time. I'm not sure if you can pop a hand up or something in here, but who's ever had a challenge in their business so far? Just put anything in the chat. Who's had a challenge in their business so far? Sally, yep, definitely. Look, we've had challenges. It's life. When you are working towards creating freedom and breaking free from the status quo, your identity, more than anything, will come under attack. Because in order to have more, you must become more. Okay, in order to have more, you must become more. Okay, it will always be open hunting season on who you are and where you're at. Okay, your identity as a person and what you believe about yourself and the world around you is in my opinion, is one of the most important keys to long-term success. Okay, if you want to learn to lift weights, so some of you may know I've been recovering from a pretty major hip operation just over 2 years ago. part of my recovery, I want to learn to do some bar work, some snatches, some squats and that sort of thing. I've got a good friend here in Palmy, Tim. He's got an extensive background, strength conditioning, that sort of stuff. I said, Tim, I want to do some lifting. He said, right, well, let's have a look at your squat. You just your body squat. Okay, this is just body weight. It's like, okay. I can see a problem or two or three or four. Okay, until you can accumulate 100 body weight squats with proper form, in one session, you are not going anywhere near a bar. Okay, so we identified some weaknesses, we made a plan, and then I got to work. And I'm proud to announce it's taken me a while, but I'm getting close to buying myself a bar. I'm not the weights yet. I can't buy the weights yet. I'm not quite there, but I'm very close to buying the bar because we made a plan and I started working towards it. Okay, in order to have more, I first must become more. Okay, there's always going to be events in your life that's going to come to test you. Okay, there's always going to be times where you have to identify possible stumbling blocks that are preventing you from breaking through the next level. Okay, the efficiency with which you can identify these areas that need improving and figure out how to deal with them will determine how quickly you can progress. Okay, I'll give you a couple of examples just to see if there's anything maybe you can identify with in the Juice Plus business. Again, I love a bit of interaction. Give us a Y or a HY for a heck yes or whatever. Who has ever been scarred by past failure? Who has ever been scarred by past failure and you were just waiting for this thing to be another thing that doesn't work for you? Give us a Y or something. Who's ever felt like that? Maybe scarred by past failure. Who has ever had people tell you that this will not work? What you're doing, it's not going to work. Who's ever been hypersensitive to bad news because of previous painful events, in your life? And checking Messenger, like, oh my goodness, the message just came in. Like, it can freak you out. Who's ever had that? Who's ever maybe belief around money? Having money, spending money, talking about money can cause you pain. Just pop it in the comments if that's ever been you. Maybe you've been afraid of success because you've spent so long feeling like a failure. Who has ever been scared of doing something new that you don't have full control of? Stepping out of into the unknown or out of your comfort zone. It's like, this is hard. Okay, maybe you're afraid of making a mistake and looking like a fool, or letting someone, maybe letting someone down. Maybe someone encouraged you to make a start and you're afraid of letting them down. Okay, maybe who's ever been terrified of outshining someone in your family? So you just keep playing small just to keep the peace. Okay. What about, who's ever felt like people don't understand you and what you're working towards? Maybe people in general, and this can be a problem, maybe people in general freak you out. What I've discovered, there's a lot of people around. Who's ever battled with being an introvert? Large crowds can, sort of drain the life out of you. Who can identify at least one of those? If you can identify with one of those, just put a 1 into the chat. If you can identify with 4 or 5, put a 4 or a 5 in the chat.
Or an all.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, who went for the whole list? Who went for the whole list? I'll tell you what, I did. That was my list. That is my personal list. I wanted to let you know of the things that I've had to face. Okay, that was my list. So if you've got some stuff on there, you're good company. There's a few of us around. The level to which you work on yourself will determine how far you can go in the business. Okay, there's no one is immune from having to work on themselves. Okay, if you believe that, I think that's false. Everyone has to work on themselves. Now, if you were to, and I'm going to introduce Alex in a sec, if you were to have a look at her pile of notebooks, I should have got them out. That's quite extensive. Pile of notebooks pre-Juice Plus, you would understand why she has been able to bypass a lot of those barriers that I just went through. Now, that's a pretty exhaustive list, and some of us are like, man, I've had all of them. I had all of them. That was my list. Okay, now I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But she was working on herself. We both have been working on ourselves for a long time before the business came along. Okay, now whatever your spiritual beliefs might be, for us, our faith in God is important to us. It's the principle that we're talking about here. Alex has spent years looking at how she can become a better person. Okay, she has constantly asked herself better questions in order to receive better answers on how she can move forward in life. Because the better you can move forward in life is just going to make you move forward better in your business. Okay, I think some people think Juice Plus is like this little, I don't know, it's on its own, it's totally different to life, but it's not. It's a microcosm of what life is. Okay, why is something happening and how can I move forward? How do I interpret of what just happened? How do I interpret it? Am I reacting to a particular situation in order to protect myself? You know, what is the real truth here? These are really important questions. The system Adam and Kira have been teaching us has created amazing success for so many people, you know, ourselves included. They give so much of their time to help us, you know, the tools of the how-to, and I love listening to Katrina in the previous training. You know, this is stuff that, you know, that we can all learn to do. Okay, we can all get good at the how-to, but I believe, you know, after being in the business just over 2 years now, the level to which the system can work effectively through us is limited by one person, and that's ourselves. Okay, the level of confidence and certainty you have in yourself, where you're going, is going to impact the level to which you will inspire other people to join your journey. Okay, like moving through the compensation plan is a reflection of how successful you are at helping other people realize that their life can change. Okay, the degree to which you can help people fall in love with the idea of improving their lifestyle, improving their health, that's the degree to which your business will grow. Okay, leading a team is helping other people realize how awesome that they can be. You know, inspiring other people to run with you. Can't carry people with you, they've got to do their own work, but inspiring other people to run with you is about holding a space for them to grow into the person that you can see them becoming before they even see it themselves. You know, I love being able to see the potential in other people, but you've got to be able to hold that space for them until they grow into it, so they're up and running as well, so they can finish the race with you. Alex was just on a coaching call this afternoon, asking the tough questions to help the team member find out how does she move forward. Okay, the key attribute in helping, you know, you've got to lead. In order to lead other people, you've got to lead yourself well first. Okay, awareness is like the key skill. Okay, if you're not aware of something, you can't fix it. Okay, awareness is an ability to really look at what's going on and then figure out a way forward. So, like I said, Alex is going to talk to us. So to help you get thinking, you know, and look, we speak about this a lot, you know, and I guess, you know, she's sort of identified the top handful of reasons that she's seen from her experience, which can potentially prevent people from moving through the compensation plan. You know, I think it's just good to have some things to consider. Maybe you haven't been aware of these types of things. So I've asked her, she's got some things here. So I can take a break. I've been talking nonstop, very fast. Now, not just so I can take a break, because she's awesome and she's the reason we're even on this journey to begin with. The reason my toys are back in the cot at times. I have thrown the toys out of the cot. Not recently, but, you know, in that stage when we were coming up out of our stride, getting into the race. So, Alex, take it away. Why do you know, from your experience, why do people often get stuck? What prevents people, you know, from getting out of the blocks and transitioning into the race, like Usain Bolt?
That was awesome, Ben. That was very, very cool. And feel free to just pitch in here if I am leaving any gaps. You know, I was just having a bit of a brainstorm about some of the things, I guess, that we've noticed. You know, people getting stuck, like certain areas. And so I've just done a little list down here and I thought I'd ramble off a few. So first and foremost, pretty confident most of us have had someone in our organisation, or we know someone who, or it could even be ourselves. That we're worried about what people think. Put a why. Anyone else worried about, you know, what people think of us? Yeah. So I guess a little bit of an advantage for us when we started this business was that we'd already made a few weird or not so normal decisions in our life. So for us starting this business, it wasn't so, it wasn't as difficult, I guess, because we'd already made the decision between ourselves as a couple. We're doing this. This is the decision we're making. And we weren't looking for outside opinions, okay? We weren't going to allow other people's, thoughts on what we're up to affect our decision. We'd already made a few other weird decisions.
Lots of them.
Quite a few of them, like the homeschooling thing, we'd had definitely quite a few conversations with people that were pretty negative about that, questioning what we're up to in that area. We'd had other things like, like when we chose to lead a home church when I was 5 weeks away from having our second child, which was kind of a weird decision. In the natural, it wasn't good timing. It was like, really, this is crazy. But it was like, you know what? We felt like this is the right path to go down. So, yep, we're going to do it. Moving to New Zealand was another decision. We had people not really supporting that decision. It was like, why would you go to New Zealand? There's not as many opportunities. What are we going to do for work? All this sort of thing. But when we know, like between us as a couple, it's like, we know that this is the road that we need to take. We're not looking for opinions or approval from people outside of us. So for you, if you're feeling a little bit like, worried about what people think, it's like, well, you need to decide for yourself. Is this the road that I want to take? Is this the best, the best thing for me and my family? And don't allow those other people to affect those decisions, because at the end of the day, other people, and what they choose to do, you don't want that to uproot you and what the destiny is for you and your family. And we had a couple of incidences when we first got started that could totally have derailed us. Our first order, we were really excited by it. Our very first
order. Too easy. First conversation.
Like, this is awesome.
Boom.
And it was like 1,000 points. Everyone ordered in the family, and it was like too easy. Anyway, and as the product was travelling over from Australia, because in those days, for the Kiwis that are on here, there wasn't a distribution centre in New Zealand, so it was coming over from Australia. That particular customer found out that it was network marketing. So not only did they cancel their product, but you may have already heard this story before with my NMD speech. This was the particular person that sent like a really lengthy email. And yeah, it was full on. Like it was not pleasant to receive. But I guess for us, it was a good speed bump to have in the beginning, because it was sort of like it couldn't really have got much worse than that. And, we looked at it. There was so much there was not really any facts in it. It was just a whole lot of misconceptions that,
it caused us to have to actually build our muscle. It was actually like, so embrace the speed bumps. It caused us to, well, what is he saying? Is it true? Oh my goodness, I have no idea. Let's have a look at it. And it wasn't true. It was just opinion. So then we
we had to just go through it. We looked at stuff and it was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't think so. And then there was another incident, because I wasn't even on Facebook, everyone in here. I didn't even have a profile when we started this business. So it was like so new to me. And I had a family member at a family event, say something pretty rude to me, pretty much in front of a group of people. They said, oh, you're just on Facebook to sell SHIT, like in front of everyone. And I was just like, what? I couldn't believe it. I was like, you kidding me? And I was just like, I nearly burst into tears. It was terrible. But again, like this was real early on. I was just like, hold on. And then as I thought about it later, I was just like, you know what? Not in an arrogant way at all. But the question you've got to ask yourself is, do I aspire to being, having this life that this person, has?
If they're going to attack me for doing what I'm doing, would I rather do what they do?
Honestly, it took me about 1 second, of asking myself that question. And I'm just like, you know what? No, like definitely not. So then I was just like, you know what? Whatever, that's cool. And at the next family event, I'm sure it will come up. And, who knows what will happen. But
ever since then, his son has said to us, we're really proud of what you're doing. What you're doing is amazing. So
yeah. So that was my first point. Like, I hope that kind of helps some of you here, that, it's not easy sometimes. You can choose to be worried about what people think. But at the end of the day, you're the one, it's your life. You get to decide, you know, what road you are going to take. And if you're choosing to take this road, well, yeah, don't allow other people's
Which
opinions.
Ties into that one anyway.
Yeah, it does, which is the next one is like, where else do people get stuck? You know, they dip their toes in. You know, we've all heard of, Adam said it before, you know, people either don't realise what's possible or they don't believe that they can achieve that kind of success. So, you know, in order to get that fire in your belly, you've got to have vision. You know, we've heard that before. You've got to know what you want for your family. If you don't, sit down here in the next day or two and get yourself some space, put some music on, do whatever you need to do, and write down, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want this business to be for you? And whenever you have a moment of not wanting to do the work, read it. Like, read what you've written down. Like, we'll stick it somewhere so you can see it, you know, on a regular basis, because people only dip their toes in if they're kind of like, well, you know, I either don't think it's possible or I don't even know what it is I even want to do. Do you want to add anything there?
No, I think, if you got to decide and that's why, you know, right at the beginning, what is Juice Plus offering you? It's pretty amazing. You know, it's offering you don't have to hold stock, ship it, you don't have to go to the post office. You don't have to figure out credit card processing throughout all these countries. I mean, it's amazing. You get paid for the effort you put in. I mean, you know, what's on offer? You know, and if this is going to be the vehicle that's going to help change your life, don't just dip your toes and it's like, I'm doing this. You know, I don't care what people think. This is the thing. Do I know anyone in this business who's created what I want? Well, yeah, there's heaps of people. And so, yeah, just go for it.
Which kind of leads into the next one. You know, this is another area where people can feel stuck. It's like they fail to inspire. You know, like, I'm sure some of you have probably seen some, you know, people posting stuff and you're just like, ugh! You know, like, that doesn't inspire me at all. You know, people want certainty for a start. You know, if you look at all of the NMDs, well, pretty much all of the NMDs that I know, if I scroll through their Facebook page, something that's very clear is they're very certain. There's not kind of any wavering there. You know, they're inspiring. It's because they know where they're going, and it's clear that, you know, nothing's stopping them on their destination. And it's just like, well, who's coming with me?
Yeah, they're just looking for who's going to come on the journey with me. This is where I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah. So, think about, like, how do I feel when I scroll through my Facebook? How does it make me feel? You know, and maybe if you're wanting to be really brave, maybe you need to ask someone else. Like, don't, you know, outside of your, you know, like, go to someone, go to a family member, go to a friend who's going to be honest with you and ask them, well, how do you feel when you look through my Facebook? Because if you're putting stuff up that's like disturbing photos or, you know, having a rant about something, you know, or abusing someone about something, it's not inspiring. And for me personally, if I was to read that on someone's Facebook page, I would not be inspired to join them. You know, you want to be led by someone who is certain, who's inspiring, who you can trust. We've heard it before. Know, like, and trust.
I think if you're having the worst sick life in your week, look, we had like a tummy bug that went through our house for 2 weeks. It was the worst in our entire parenting life. But don't go telling the whole Facebook world about it. You know, find something, or, you know, maybe if there's something, it's not about being fake. You can share the stuff you're going through, but always try as best you can. Put a positive spin on it. When it comes to tummy bugs, we just don't post about it. The tummy bugs and the ramifications of that.
I just needed to get through it. Anyway, right. So another area where people can feel stuck is that they don't learn from their mistakes and they don't take the time to refine their skills. And I use this analogy all the time, so I'm so sorry for anyone on here that's heard me already share this a million times. But I always go back to this. It's the whole teaching analogy for me. I mean, I had to go and study. I did 3 years in New Zealand and they had to do an extra year in Australia to be 4-year qualified. And the amount of money and time that I spent just to get that degree, and I wasn't even good after the 4 years of studying. Like, I mean, I actually had to go into the lion's den, like, literally, and, you know, into the slaughter and basically be eaten up and chewed by many children before I actually became half good at it. And it took all of those terrible lessons, you know, the ones out on the oval where everyone's just like out of control. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm supposed to be in charge.
I am going to get called in to like see the principal later because these kids are like out of control. But it took those moments for me to realize I will never do it like that again. Like next time, you know, I have a game plan. And it kind of makes you think, well, you know, when, like for me, when I was teaching, it's like, how do I learn to get better? And it's like, how do you learn? It's like, da-da. You look to the people who are really good. You look at the good teachers, the ones who are awesome, the ones that the kids love, the ones that have the classroom contained and the kids are into it and they're learning and they're loving it and they've got a good relationship. That's what you do. You look to the people that have got it together and are doing a great job. And it's no different for us. But the issue is, for a lot of us and a lot of people within our organisation, is they start and after a month or two, it's like, I'm no good at this. I can't do it. But they haven't actually spent the time learning the skills needed to get good, you know, at doing this business. And anyone can learn, but you've got to have that mindset, right? I'm here to learn from my mistakes. I am going to make mistakes. I'm going to stuff up along the way. What can I learn? How can I do it better next time? And then before too long, you're going to be humming along and it's like, I'm getting pretty good at this. You know, I remember those first few customer calls I did, and it's just like, seriously, I had no idea what I was doing. And, you know, a lot of those Zoom calls and stuff in the early days, you're not experienced, but it takes time to get good at it and constant learning, which we all need to do. Anything else you want to add there?
No, I think constantly learning from mistakes is so critical. You're not going to get it right all the time, but seeing, you know, how can I do it better? Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And like, yeah, who can I learn from? What do I need to do to get better so that I can have success?
Get someone to take a look. If you've had the last 20 conversations and nothing's happened, well, there's a reason. Again, it's just reach out.
Next
and
point, love.
Oh, well, there you go.
Or maybe the next one after that. Another one, procrastination. So, you know, people that just don't want to commit to the activities needed to grow their business. So I was listening to a great audio book this morning, and it was all about procrastination. And it's not laziness. Like, procrastination is often not laziness. A lot of the time, it's people they're perfectionists. So they don't actually want to do the activities because it's like, if it's not perfect, it's almost like they're paralyzed. So I guess we've got to get clear on what are the activities that are needed in order to, you know, get to my goal. Like, what do I need to do? And we just need to do the activities. I mean, it's obvious, it's Captain Obvious, but that's what we need to do. So regardless of whether it's perfect or not, going back to the refining and just learning as we go, like, you've just got to actually be disciplined.
What was the podcast you're listening to?
It was oh gosh, you're throwing it on me now. It's the leadership one, the Brendan.
The leadership
one. Hold on. I
don't know.
Oh, this is High Performance Habits. That's the one. Oh, I said it and then it's coming up in the thing.
Sorden.
Yes, thanks, girls.
Oh, and Renelle.
High Performance Habits by Brendan. Yeah, thank you for the spelling, because I would have no idea how to spell that. Yeah.
Yep.
He's got some really cool stuff in there. But yeah, that was just one thing I had to listen to this morning.
We've definitely got some people here who are feeling the
really good.
Yep.
And something he said in that, which is another thing, he goes, the main thing is you need to keep the main thing the main thing. I love that. It was so good.
What is the main thing?
So yeah, well, you ask yourself, what is the main thing to build my business right now? What's the main thing? So it's like,
starts with an R.
Sounds
like recruiting.
The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. I was just like, that's awesome. So
you can become distracted.
Yeah, you can
especially as your team grows.
You can get distracted, or even get distracted in cooking and cleaning and hanging washing out. You know, like, that's honestly, I can get into that mode of, I don't really need to do that today. So I'll get myself busy with stuff. And then before too long, you're doing that too often.
We have had, when we're building really fast, we had dishes all over the place. I mean, We did. We had
we did.
dishes everywhere. We had wet clothes still in the washing machine, because the main thing, we wanted to keep the main thing, and the main thing was building, because we wanted to change our life as quickly as possible. We wanted to get out of the starting blocks and up into our stride as fast as we could. So there were times where, the house was a bit of a disaster. But it's all good.
And I did not like that. It didn't feel good to have the house like that, and I didn't like the feeling of the dishes all being in the sink and stuff, but I just had to tell myself this is what needs to happen. Like, I mean, there was no choice. There was stuff that needed to be done. So the next one, I've got a couple more guys and then I'll wrap up. The other one's never reaching out for help. You know, like that's sometimes where people can get stuck. And you've all heard that insanity quote thing, like you keep repeating the same thing and you're expecting different results. You know, if you're finding that there is a pattern, you know, if there's a pattern in your business, you know, people aren't getting past DVF, you're not able to build clubs, your customers aren't reordering, you know, they're saying, you know, whatever it is. It's
Don't
like
stick your head in the sand and just say, oh, it's just a one-off. Like, you've got to just be constantly aware. Yeah.
And if there's somewhere that you're seeing that there's a pattern, it's like often looking to someone outside of yourself is a really wise idea, because it might help you get a bit of clarity around why that is happening. And it could take a few questions from someone outside of your, you know, like
someone
your upline.
Removed.
Yeah, someone removed. Because you don't know what you don't know. Like sometimes, like honestly, I've had people like newbies, they, you know, they might go on for weeks and they don't ask for help, even though I've said to them, you know, I want you to send your messages to me. Let me help you. Let's refine them before you send them on. But, you know, they've just thought, I'll just do it myself or whatever. Maybe they didn't want to bug me.
You say, oh, how's everything going? Oh, 5 people, but no one's interested. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, and then we look at the messages and it's often something so subtle, that they have said in that message, and the minute I look at it, I'm like, there it is. It's right there. But you don't know what you don't know. Like for that person that started, they don't realize how much fluff they've put on that message, and that it just sounds like too over the top or whatever it is. So definitely reach out to someone for help and upline a sideline if you're seeing a pattern. Because like Ben said, if you bury your head in the sand, you're not actually going to deal with the issue. Here's my last one. Like this is another place people can get stuck. Pretty obvious, this one, like excuses. You know, like your excuses become louder than the desire to see this work for you. And we've all got excuses. You know, we could all write a massive list of the reasons why we can't do, you know, the activities today or yesterday or what happened last week or whatever. You know, and there was this really cool YouTube clip. I used it on one of the other trainings, and he talks about excuses just being lies. And they are. It's like, yes, we do have times in life where stuff's going on, and of course, yes, that's cool, but you know, if you keep just giving yourself excuses all the time, it's just, you need to nip them in the butt and be like, you know what, I actually just need to do and just get stuff done. So again, that common thread that I noticed in Perth at conference with the NMDs is you could see it plain as day. They did not have excuses. They had a strong work ethic, you know, and that whole thing, they know where they're going, they're confident about where they're going, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty and actually do the work. That was probably one of my biggest takeaways. You know, there's no one standing up there who's like, oh, well, that was pretty easy. You know, it does require some nitty gritty, sacrificing, you know. I mean, like for me, when we first got started, I definitely enjoyed, before this business, I enjoyed sitting down with the kids in the afternoon while the twins napped to have a cup of tea and a bit of herbal and just a bit of a read and a relax. You know, as soon as we started this, there was none of that. So I guess you can...
We're not saying neglect your family. It was just we the short-term pain in some areas to build so we could change our life.
Yeah, definitely. So I might finish on that note.
Cool. Yeah. So, yep. Just so we can wrap up. And actually, I saw on the way over to Australia the other week, I saw a documentary on Serena Williams when she was coming back after having a baby, and the amount of effort she had to put in to get back to where she was phenomenal. She got to a tipping point where the coach sat down to her and said, "How badly do you want to become number one again? Because at the moment, you're not giving me the effort that I need in order for you to get to number one." And she was tossing up whether to keep feeding her child. This was the one connection she had with her child. And he said, "You've got to stop feeding the child because it's not helping your body get to where you need to get to." And she was like, "Okay." And she was like, "Do you know what?" And she did. And she trained, leading up to the French Open, just what Alex was saying. All excuses went out the window. And she said, "I want this and I'm going to go for it." So, yeah, look, I'm sure there is stuff in there that all of you can identify with, okay? And I think the answer to help unlocking, these types of issues, it's all in here, okay? Your identity, how strong your belief is in who you are, where you're going, why you're here, and this is what's going to help you move past this type of stuff, okay? Before you started believing all the lies that we spoke about earlier, I've failed before and all this sort of stuff. Who is the person on the inside who was born to do something great? Because all these things that Alex has just spoken about, you don't have to live with this stuff, okay? Living, a false identity based on what's happened in the past, because often this stuff is kind of a result of things that we're holding on to. Maybe it's, I'm afraid of making a mistake, so I actually won't do anything. Okay, you're being cheated out of what you can become, what you can have. You're robbing yourself out of experiencing more because you're choosing to listen to the wrong story. Okay, I can't do this. I don't have time. I'm an introvert. I've got too many kids. I've got no kids. I don't know what to say. I live in a small town. Okay, I don't think this is for me. I don't want to be that person. No one has any money to buy from me. This is not working. I don't want to pressure anyone. My team won't do anything. This is not happening fast enough. My leader doesn't support me. I've popped up 2 Facebook posts and no one's inboxed me. There's negative reviews on the internet about Juice Plus. I spoke to a friend who did Amway in 1990 and he told me it's only the people at the top get paid. Okay, these are all excuses and symptoms. Okay, it's not the actual issue itself. Okay, you'll find it really hard to get this thing going if you choose to listen to the wrong story. Okay, like today's choices will yield tomorrow's harvest. What you are seeing today is a result of what you planted yesterday. You will harvest something in the future. It's a universal principle. If you continue to plant doubt into the field of your mind, that's what you'll harvest. If you look at the field and think about all the things that could go wrong and, oh my goodness, it's just this, I can see so many things going wrong here, I'm not going to plant anything. You'll most likely yield like nothing. But if you plant a lot of seeds and you water it and you care for it, you're going to lose some crops along the way. You learn from it. Ask an older farmer or whatever how to improve. Become a better farmer. You'll most likely yield a large crop in the future. So to wrap it up tonight, how do we move forward? Okay, we have to ask ourselves some questions. What is causing the current reality in my business? Whether you're trying to get through to SDVF or you're trying to make the jump from SSC to QNMD, okay, what's causing the current reality in my business? Those who are willing to take responsibility and be honest about what's really going on, they're the ones that will give them a shot to reach their goals. Okay, look, we're not on some witch hunt to find something depressing about ourselves for the sake of it. We're on the search of how we can become more so that we can handle more. Okay, as we wrap up tonight, give us a why in here. If you want to become more, who wants to become more so that you can have more in your life? Who wants to become better? What is happening inside of me that might be stalling my progress? You've got to confess what is really happening. Where are we really at? What is my reality right now? Accountability and transparency. What is really going on? Okay? Back to me. It's like, dude, your squat form is no good. We need to strengthen your glutes and mobilize your joints. If you don't believe me, here's a video of what you look like. Oh my goodness, is that really me? That's what happened. That's what happened to me. I was like, oh, that hurt. But I wanted my goal bad enough that I'm willing to go through that pain of self-discovery and someone having a hard word to me. Okay, if I want to improve, I've got to first of all face my current reality. Whatever's not happening in your business right now is highlighting something needs to be improved. And the question is it worth it? Is it worth the fight to figure it out? You know, is your dream worth it to ask for some feedback? You know, is your goal to be vulnerable and open so you can make some adjustments? You know, and finally tonight, I had the privilege of listening to Richard Bliss Brooks for 2 hours last week in Newcastle. He's the author of The 4-Year Career. Highly recommend it. He's living in Noosa for 3 months, and he decided while he's here in Australia, he wanted to learn how to surf. And his coach gave him this ultimatum. If you are not in the water for 3 to 5 days a week over the next 3 months, I will not coach you. But if you commit to doing your part, I'll give you feedback. You know, he'd grunt and he'd groan while he's trying to get up on the board on the wave. And his coach said, let's just drop the drama. Just get up. You know, there's always a story as to why it's hard and why I'm groaning. You know, the wave was too big. The wave was too small. My foot started to cramp. Salt water got in my eyes. You know, the best surfers change the story and they find a way to get on the wave that counts. You know, it's up to us. It's up to each one of us to do the same. You know, so just really quickly, last thing get you to do tonight into the chat. If you have identified something tonight that needs to be fixed, hey, look, I put about 10 up there that I've been through. I'm not saying put all 10, just the 1 or 2. What's the 1 or 2 things that you've identified tonight that you know you need to break through? Just pop into the chat. Okay, and this just as a way, because this is the first step. The first step is knowing what I need to work on. Are you afraid of what people think? You know, type it in here. Are you paralyzing yourself because you're trying to be perfect? Are you busy in general life, but you haven't been diligent enough to make this a high priority? You know, are you blaming your team for why you haven't reached a certain promotion? Just pop it into the chat. You know, this is the place to do it. Just to be honest, okay? Because now you've got a starting point. So this is awesome. You know, we've got all sorts of stuff in here: procrastination, get out of my own way, priorities, stop allowing distractions. This is awesome. Okay, so this is the first. Now the next step is to reach out to your leader and be open and honest, and ask them, how can I move forward? I've identified this in myself. I've identified this in my business. Or maybe say, do you know what? I feel, can you help me have a look? Okay, that's the next step. Okay. Is it worth it to become better so that you could earn $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 plus per month, you know, over the next couple of years? You know, I definitely think so. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. We believe that you've got so much more inside of you than you are aware of. So hopefully you've taken something out of tonight, identified something that you need to work on. Now go and get it done. Reach up to your leader, book in a time to chat to them and say, do you know what? I'm a procrastinator. I want to talk about it. Or I'm afraid of failing because, you know, I've failed so much in my life. Can you help me work through it? Go get it done. Thanks, everyone.